So let's start off with your names and where you're from.
Doreen Hunderfund from Magnolia, Delaware.
And I'm Joe Hunderfund. We live together, so same place.
Okay. And what's your child's name?
Our granddaughter's name is Layla Mosley.
And our daughter is Brenda, who's Layla's mom.
So we're just going to dive right in. Take us back to the moment that you realized that there was something going on with Layla's health.
Layla was sick from the time she was 4 to 5, in and out of the pediatrics office. They kept saying that maybe it was anxiety, and she was being woke up in the middle of the night with pain. And it was a month after she turned 5 that they were doing an ultrasound on her. And the night before the ultrasound, my daughter noticed a bump on her back. And they actually moved the ultrasound higher on her back, and that's where they found the tumor. So she was just a month after her 5th birthday.
Okay. So talk about when you got the diagnosis. Tell me about maybe 1 or 2 words, like what did you feel when you got the diagnosis?
I had to go out by myself when we first found the results of the biopsy. I had to just remove myself and just go out. Actually, I was on a farm. I went out in the woods and just let all my emotions out. To me, it was like the biggest tragic news I've heard in my life.
Yeah, it was devastating.
And we've had 6 kids. The 2 of us have 6 kids, and she was our 3rd grandchild at the time. And it was like a nightmare come true.
And we asked this of parents, direct parents, but just as grandparents, how did life change for you?
Well, my daughter was separated at the time, so that made her a single mom to go through it. So I became her second. So it was her and I from the very beginning. We did her treatment and continue to do her treatment together today. I never miss an appointment, and I'm the one that drives her every time she has to go for chemo or anything. I've stayed in the hospital with her also when my daughter couldn't, and it's very tough on the family. We're lucky because our last 3 home are in college right now. They weren't at the first diagnosis, but now they're freshman and a sophomore in college. So it makes it easier for me because I don't have anybody at home. So I can concentrate on Layla and the kids.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And also from the other side of it, Doreen is a great caregiver. So obviously her and Brenda work as a team, as she said. But also now, at the time, Brenda was working as a banker and a single mom. It was the only income. They own a house not far from us. And that instantly, she hasn't worked since the diagnosis, and so she's been out of work. So I feel like I had to step it up to even try to help financially. And like I said, we have a big family, so I did what I could do while Doreen was being the caregiver with Brenda.
Okay. You just alluded to one of the biggest challenges, obviously, is resources. Any family in society is dealing with resources, finances, everything like that.
Right.
If you could just speak a little bit to that, like what was that toll like, going from what it was to all of a sudden like, oh wow, we have all these bills. What is it?
Well, we cashed in our retirement. Is what happened. One of 2 retirements is now gone because we had no choice. We just couldn't cover, everything, and treatments, and they did a couple fundraisers for Layla, but it just doesn't cover anything near what these kids need.
Right, there's so much more than
just the
medical bills. Like she fortunate enough to have insurance to help with the medical bills, but it goes so much beyond that. It's just the traveling and the
whether it was hotels or medications that weren't covered all the way. And then the other thing is we've tried to take her places, do more things with her. So in order to do that, we cashed in our retirement because we would rather take her now And we'll have to worry about that later, is how it is.
And one of the next things, we hear a lot about breast cancer, prostate cancer, and there's childhood cancer. What's the difference?
The difference is that they told us how rare Ewing sarcoma is and childhood cancer on a whole. And then once you start meeting everybody, and even in our own town, we live in a small town in Delaware, we have another little girl with Ewing sarcoma in the next grammar school. There's only 200 cases, they say, diagnosed a year. To have 2 in the same grammar school, in the same small little town, is kind of alarming. And there's been other kids with Wilms tumors and other things. They don't really cluster it. You know, you can try to have it clustered through the, you have to go through the governor's office, I believe, is how you do it. But it is kind of alarming that there's way more cancer, childhood cancer, than they really talk about.
Without a doubt.
And there's so many kids, and now it's just one after the other. And I mean, we've seen Ewing sarcoma kids that I followed, they're passing away every week, I see it. And all these other cancers, and it's really more than I ever expected. You see the commercial for St. Jude, people don't really want to see that, but it's way more than that. There's just so many kids, and it's not fair that they don't get the treatment. And it's just not out there,
They
really.
don't get the attention.
They
for
don't get the
sure.
attention.
That leads me to basically FAM. Now, where were you and what did you, the moment you heard about FAM, what was that like? How did you even get into it?
Well, Milk kind of found us, the founder of FAM, because my daughter had posted a post about Layla being picked on in school. She was being bullied, and I guess it made its way to him, and he saw it. And then he reached out to my daughter, and
Wanted to meet.
he wanted to meet Layla, and he wanted to do something for Layla, like right away, he said, to make her happy, which was really nice. And then he came up to Philadelphia, and he met Layla and my daughter and the rest of the kids. And 3 days later, they were in Disney World, and it was awesome.
As far as the
And
bullying part goes, see, a lot of, at that age, like, you know, she obviously looks different because of treatment. She had no hair, and she's trying to live a normal life in school. And at that age, the other kids just, you know,
there's
couldn't accept
that,
it,
right,
couldn't
there's
accept
kids
it.
that won't sit next to her.
Right.
They won't sit next to her at lunch. They won't sit next to her on the bus. They actually had a little boy in her class that they had to send him to the principal because he would not, they moved the desks and his seat was next to Layla, and he said, I won't sit there because she has
So
cancer.
it was heartbreaking to see Layla come home from school that
Right.
way. And then when Milk heard about this, he immediately went into action to help her.
It's even more amazing to have Layla come home though and say, don't worry, Mom, because I'm used to it. And it just, she just lets it roll off her back. She's so used to it that it's more heartbreaking for us than it is for her. She's really pretty tough.
So you mentioned FAM in Disney World, right?
Yes.
So how has FAM impacted?
FAM has been awesome because other than the Disney World trip, which was great, just getting her to know other kids and interacting with them. She FaceTimes with them. She doesn't feel like she's the only one. She definitely feels like she's in a group now. And the same thing with my daughter. She has gotten to know so many of the moms, and I follow all of them also. And even though it's hard to follow them, because you know, it's sad, you know, as you see bad things happening, it's still really worth it to have them as a group. And FAM, I mean, doing everything and volunteer and giving everything back to the families it's awesome. I mean, there's so many things, like we said before, about financial, whether it's funerals or just any kind of expenses. I mean, some people don't have money to get groceries. You know, it's great that FAM is reaching out and trying to help as many families as they can.
And it's like so many other foundations there are, you don't really know where the money's going. You know, you donate, like Doreen was mentioning, St. Jude's and things like that. You can't really follow the money. With this, it goes right to the people that need it right now. And that's why I support it, and I try to get as many people as I can to support it. Because the people that need the money now are getting it now.
And they can't wait a week. They can't wait till tomorrow, some of these people who say, you know, my car's broke down and I can't get to treatment, or, you know, any things that come up, which, you know, our daughter's lucky because she has a big family. All of my children live around us, so she's got the support, but some people don't have that support, and I think it's really important for them.
And the hours that the volunteers for FAM put in is like phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it at first until I interact more with everybody and I see the countless hours
Right.
and the amount of energy that's put in it. And they're doing it for us,
Right.
not for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. That's great.
Yep.
Beautiful. One thing you wish you knew at the beginning of this journey that would have made things, I can't say easier, but more manageable for you? Like one thing you would say maybe to another parent to parent, what would you say?
Well, that's a
hard
tough one. I would say in the beginning, you feel like you can't do it. You cannot get through it. And I've seen so many parents say that, you know, at diagnosis, that it's literally so life-altering that you think you just have to take it day by day and week by week. And then it kind of does get easier because you get on a schedule and you know when chemo is, and you know you know how sick she's going to be, or you know the days she's going to have bad, and you don't in the beginning. In the beginning, it's something you've never done, and it seems impossible, overwhelming, but you really. And then when you see the kids, how resilient they are and how they get through it, it actually helps the parents
They could
get
do
through it.
It's amazing because unless you're really right there 24 hours a day with one of these children, you don't really know the pain that they really do go through.
Right.
I mean, everybody sees the outward happiness, but
The sick days
sick
and
days the pain days are
right.
just very hard to take. And you wonder how the kids are going to do it, and somehow they just pull through.
Right.
It's amazing how tough they are.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good, very good. Let's move on to milk. Just doing a little bit about milk. The first time, let me see, the first time you got wind of milk, like this is the guy that's behind this. Tell me about the first time you ever.
Well, I guess the first time would be when he was in Philly, and my daughter sent us pictures of him sitting at a table with Lily and Layla on the other side of him, drawing and playing. I think we got a good sense of who he was, and he immediately really clicked with our granddaughter, and I mean, I think he's an amazing person.
He's got a heart of gold, and he's got
Right.
a great sense of humor to make everybody feel at ease. And like Doreen said, Layla likes to play little tricks on him, and I think he
Right.
appreciates that. And then I kind of did too when we were down in Florida.
Right.
He was making a big thing how he wouldn't go on a roller coaster. So Layla and I had a little scheme going that I was going to go with Layla, and he was coming with us. When I got to the front of the line, I said I had to run somewhere. I had a stomach ache. I said, "Milk, you got to go." And Layla said, "You wouldn't let a cancer child down, would you?" And being the guy he is, he went on a roller coaster the first time in his life.
Yes.
So he's a big-hearted guy and a good guy to be around.
It wasn't long before Lily and Layla only met him a few times, and now they can't wait to see him. They miss him when they don't see him.
Beautiful. So with Milk's tattoos, his edgy style, you know, he can take a lot of people by surprise. And definitely he's not your conventional childhood advocate. You wouldn't expect to see this come down, this type of guy. What would you say to the people that they're kind of put off by him? Maybe they're like a little upset by what he's doing because he's shaking things up. What would you say to those people?
That's
Well, Joe and I, neither one of us have ever been the kind of person that would ever judge anybody by what they look like. So
For sure.
that made absolutely no difference to us at all.
No. It's what's inside for sure.
I think it's sad when people let that influence what they think about somebody, because it really has nothing to do
No.
with who you are. And Milk proves that on a daily basis.
I've seen some of the most conventional people in the world that
Right.
I don't think very highly of at all.
Right.
It's what's inside.
Exactly. You
Your
don't,
actions prove.
if you're walking around in a suit and, you know,
Thinking about yourself.
it
more than
doesn't
anybody
necessarily mean you're the best person, you know. Good people come in all shapes.
What does it mean to you being personally affected by the childhood cancer thing, to have somebody that's advocating like that, kind of outside of the box? What does it mean?
It's awesome. It's awesome that he is doing all that he's doing for these kids. It really gives Layla something else to think about, and I'm hoping that it goes somewhere and that childhood cancer definitely gets more funding and more awareness and more people pay attention to it. I know breast cancer is a big thing, and breast cancer is, you know, gets so much attention, and there's more chemo for that now, and there's more cures for that now because of it. I think it's time to move on from that and move over to childhood cancer, because these kids are on chemos that are 30 years old. They're not a cure, they're poison, and they have no other choice but to take that, you know, to try to keep going until there is something better. But people like Milk and people like him might make a difference, and we're hoping for Layla that she can just keep going until there's something better for Ewing sarcoma.
And as far as FAM goes, it's like, it's great to see it's growing. Like I know just from myself, like all my family, all my friends, my business associates, everyone, there's such a big following now and supporters. I mean, every time I see FAM reaching out for help for a kid somewhere, it makes me feel good to scroll down and see 5 or 6 or 10 people that came in through me. It makes me feel like
Right.
I'm doing something. Like I want to try to do what I can to help Milk and FAM. And by doing that, I'm putting in my share when I see my family and friends involved.
Beautiful. Okay, so this is how we end this. The title of this, we know that the children right now, they're over taping, right? So that's the whole bad boy for life thing.
Right.
And we're calling this mini documentary, we're calling this FAM for life. And it's not just the fact that, you know, you might be a part of a group or something for life, but it's also what you do for life, right? So some of the children have said, I dance for life, you know, or I write for life, or I play with my friends for life. And the sense is that thing that you hold on to keep you present, right? And to keep you going, which we all do, right? So if you could, each of you at least give me 1 or 2 things that you do for life. Just like one, I blank for life. Take time.
Like along the lines of like, I mean, I love my family for life, and you know, I don't know.
Mine definitely is caregiver. I mean, for life, that's been I have 6 kids and 5 grandchildren, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that is my life,
Right.
for sure.
Okay, so this is what I'll have you do. I have you say, what is a better way? I'm a caregiver, or I'm a caregiver for life.
I'm a caregiver for life.
And yours was?
I'm a supporter and a lover for life. I don't know.
Say it one more time.
I'm a lover and supporter of everyone that I can for life.
Okay, so last thing we're going to do, it's beautiful. Last thing we're going to do is I'll count from 1, 2, 3, and each of you give your name, and then just say, we're FAM for life, right? So your name, 1, 2, 3, your name, we are FAM for life, all right?
At the
First
same
and
time,
last name?
Just do your first name. So first name, and then together, we are FAM for life.
Okay.
Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Doreen,
Joe.
we're fam for life.
Okay, do it one more time.
Okay.
1, 2, I'm Dory. 1, 2, 3.
I'm Doreen,
I'm Joe.
and
we
we're
are
Fam for Life.
Excellent. Thank you. That's
Not
it.
a problem.
Thank you, thank you.
Glad to help.